This afternoon, we're going to be looking over using the attachments side of the software. So this is for, well, as long as you've got a PDF of it, we can attach that to any of the messages that you want to send. We've got a couple of examples for this, which we'll have a look over. Your software should have this on there already. If you find that your system isn't looking how mine's going to look, then we'll cover that as we get to it. We're logged into here. So what is it that we can actually attach here? Well, there are a couple of things, but it's PDFs. It's got the file you need to send has to be in a PDF file, and there is a maximum limit of that of 5 megabyte. Now that is a very large PDF though. You'd have to be sending something quite large to break 5 megabyte in a PDF file. Starting in the simplest way, we can use this for our quick messages, our one-offs, either from the interface, as we have here, or we can do that from our desktop GP toolbar as well, if that's something you have on your system. I'll do it through quick message because we're all going to have that one. If we go into there and look for who we're looking for, I'm going to find them in our list. Now from here, it's the same as any other message. Yes, you can type out whatever you want to send, whenever you want to send it, that's fine. We can also start using templates. You might already have a bunch of these already set up for various different things, appointment cancellations and such. We've built a couple which are kind of preset for this kind of purpose though. Fit notes, prescriptions, that kind of affair. These will be for text and for the app as well, if that's something your MJog supports. So if I pick myself this prescription attached, it pre-fills us most of the message already. First name, last name, please use the following link to view your prescription. So what this is actually doing, because it's going by text, you can't send a file via text, you can't send a PDF, that just wouldn't happen. When this message gets through to the patient, it's going to have an internet link on there, just a normal web link, which will push them off to a page to collect their file, their prescription note or leaflet, whatever it is you want it to be. Hopefully my webcam's going to play ball and so I can show you how that works. First thing though, I'm going to need to attach a file in here. It says here we can either drag and drop it or we can choose file. Now choose file is going to give you the normal kind of window here to find something on. But since I've got mine right here, I'm just going to grab one and drag and drop. And we can say it's saved. Saved, name of it. And you can have the option for a pin. Now this is going to be the year of birth of the patient. It depends how secure you want this to be. You don't necessarily have to have that PIN number on there. I'm going to leave it off for this time. Of course, we can also code it. We can tell it, give it a relevant read code and comment as to what it is we're sending. And all being well, we can hit send. And away it goes. So I'm just going to give that a moment for that to turn up into my phone. And it just has. Essentially, I've got a text in there, and in this particular instance on iOS, it's done a little extra pop-up below the text with a web link attached to it. Click to load a preview. And that then sends me off to MJog.net. But in there is a copy of the file which I was sending. So that's fine. I can get it onto my phone, but I want to save it, or I want to print it, or I want a hard copy of it, or something to that effect. What am I going to do with this? So, in here, at the very top, and again, this is all laid out in the handout that's in the list. You'll see there's just this little icon up the top here. They call it hamburger stack. It's the 3 lines piled on top of each other. We give that a nudge and it gives us some options, one of which, send to PC. Now you can download it to your phone as well if you prefer, But we're going to go with this send to PC option so I can show you through how that all works. So it needs the camera. Some phones are going to prompt that. It depends on the security settings your patient has on their smartphone. It's then, that's weird. It's telling me I need to go over to a web page and scan a QR code. The web page itself, maps.mjog.net/DTViewer. Now, I appreciate that's not the snappiest in the world, but it is written right there on the web page, so that should help matters. Scan your code with your phone, and lo, here it is. It's all just sat right in front of me on my PC. I can get that printed, I can get that saved, I can do whatever with I need to do. That's how the process works for the patient end of things. Now, again, they're going to need a smartphone for this to work. Okay. If they've got an old Nokia candy bar phone from turn of the century, then it's not really going to work for them. But if there's a web browser on that handset, this should typically work fine. They get a text through, they can open it in their phone, they can then open it on their PC if they so need to and do what they need to do. And yes, pretty much we do the same thing, just through different message channels. So you've got your quick message right there. And again, that's to one person at a time. If you want to send it to a small group of patients, then we can step in via our now messaging. So you've got communicate with my patients, you've got now messages in there. It's also the same place we do our big recalls, we do our campaigns. So it may be, for instance, you are going to do an invite for a surgery of some description. It could be a recall of your diabetics or your asthmatics, whatever it happens to be. If you want to attach some more detail to it, then if you get a PDF of it, do that. So let me start with something pretty basic here. So I'm going to create just something completely from scratch here. It's a pretty standard kind of recall message there. Often they tend to have a very similar feel like this. Obviously you clean up your typos as you go along. Maybe you want to add more to that. Maybe there's a leaflet about what the process will be, or maybe you've got different processes for how you accept patients into the practice. You may have a piece about masks and so forth and how you're accommodating people at this time. Well, again, we can take one of our PDFs. I've got one here. How do I control my blood pressure? So I can drag that in there. See, it's already in place. We can view our file as well if we prefer. We might not put a pin code on it. When we drop that file in place, it adds a bit more to your template. It's got this click to view and a smart link. The smart link we can't get rid of. That's the piece which does the work here. We need that in place. But we can, this click to view, we can elaborate on that. Further information, please click. And we add it all in there. So I can go continue with that. And from here on in, it's the same as any other campaign. Give it your patients, pick your dates, do any coding you want to do. That's the tall and short of it. At this time, we're going to work towards being able to include attachments specifically to templates. That's not something we're doing at the moment. And I'd be somewhat cautious with that to begin with anyway. You're going to have to do some version control on that because, again, if you're putting together one particular piece of advice on a template, that advice may change. So you may not want to have a set one in there in case it may well need changing on a regular basis. And of course, there's the possibility you end up sending out the wrong information. We don't want that. I suppose the key takeaway points on this is if you want to get, be it a fit note or a prescription document, again, those are two examples we've already put in place for quick message. You'll have templates already in there for that. But those are two very quick and easy examples. Other ones, like I say, could be your newsletter. You could do a campaign and just attach your newsletter to that, where previously you may have just left a web link, something to that effect. And again, leaflets and further information pertinent to your recalls, your invites, and such the like. Again, this can be done it should be available on all of your systems. If you don't have the interface as it looks right now, then your system probably is missing an update. To that effect, if that is the case, it's worth dropping a line into our guys at MJog support. In fact, at the bottom of your page, there's a button for Ask MJog Support, and just say, Brendan says you need the latest versions. Okay. What will happen then is we'll deploy those down. If you happen to be staring at it as they arrive, you might find your MJog disappears for a few minutes, but panic ye not, it will come back. It's just going to update to have your fresh interface here, complete with the attachments side of it as well.